Yeah, it's been, I tell you, there was just something, one of the things in my career when I was hiring coaches, I've always, been very methodical about it and make sure that, there's certain characteristics that I'm looking for. And, he had a really good resume, but there's a lot of guys that had a lot better resume, you know what I'm saying, so-called. You went maybe win the press conference, by how good the resume is. But, man, there's just something about him that I really, really like. And it's been I hate doing this 2 years in a row, having to, go through this process because we don't just hire somebody and say, hey, run whatever you want to run. We recruited these kids for 5 years. So it's important they come in there adaptive. He's just been, I've had a lot of fun working with him. And, man, he's a coach's kid. He's a great person. He's driven. He's passionate. So it's been, I'm not telling you it's been an easy process because it's not. I'd rather not ever have anything change. It's been, I'll tell you this. This has been the best training camp that we've had since I've been here. And I think it has a lot to do with the leadership that we have. Probably the most important thing that I do that I'm dependent upon are the people I surround myself with. And I feel good about the guys that we have, especially Billy. Pass coverage. He's really, really, and I think Coach Bennett's brought a lot from that standpoint. Really have done some things, with our backers and our pass coverage to help us. But DJ's always been a very physical player. But I think he's really, really dramatically improved in his ability to cover. And I'm talking about work in zone coverage and then he's the kind of the quarterback. He's the guy that makes all the calls and does all the things that in a defense that is a audibling defense. Okay, so and I really believe that we've got some great lead. JoJo's a great leader. Tayshawn's, I think, a guy that is a good example for our players. And but I really have always felt like DJ was kind of that, we need him to elevate when it comes to, when it's time for a goal line, it's time for a big play. He needs to. I think he's a guy that the guys rally around. I think everybody, whether you took the back end, you took the front end. I think he's a guy that's a very, very hard-nosed physical player that the other guys really kind of look to, and we've really challenged him to be a leader that'll sacrifice and really be vocal and step up. So those are the things I think he's gotten better at. Got to continue to get better at the leadership part. Yeah. One, all those guys were faster. I think one of the things that you can get you got to be fast enough. You got to be able to recover. You got to be able to, cut a guy off vertically downfield with speed. I mean, you're just going to face so many. You got big receivers. You got fast receivers. I mean, the skill players, the receivers in our league are really, really a challenge. So that group is faster. We're more athletic when you take. Really those three guys that you mentioned, Joey, Colby, and Chase. I mean, those guys are very, very fast, and they've all developed themselves and gotten faster. Cornet, I think, has been solid as well. And Mo Chandler had a great day today, so getting some reps. So I think we're much more athletic. I think Joey's a guy that really has he's really he's long, he's tall for a corner, extremely fast, extremely gifted. He's just kind of he's just raw, and every day he's getting better. But I love his demeanor. He's a very intelligent guy, smart guy. His techniques, his craft means something to him. I like Colby a lot. He's a guy. He's a smaller guy. He's got a little chip on his shoulder. He's really a guy that is very, very competitive. Got great feet. Chase is a guy that I think has the potential to be as good as he wants to be. He's just got to get mentally mature, and continue to get tougher and get more confident in what he's doing. And but those three guys you mentioned, I think, have really improved dramatically. And you had Cornet into that group. The young guys in that group, Alex Perry and those guys, we're better just from a personnel standpoint. And then I think there's a lot of promise with what those guys can do. I don't know about that. I think Coach feels good about him or Marcus. Jamarcus has had a really good camp though. He's a good football player. He's very instinctive. I think he's in shape, or closer to being in shape than he's ever been, and he's had a really solid camp. So is Marcus. Marcus is a guy who plays spur or bandit, and Daz. I think Daz. Those guys are all guys that are experienced players, and not first year players. And Chad. I think Chad's been the guy. That's one guy I don't ever, because Chad's just such a he's such a tremendous person, and he's such an easy guy. He never says much, and he just works hard every day. He's one of the most improved guys back there, and he's a guy that I think that's very critical. He's the communicator back in the back end. So, but I think Jamarcus can be as good as he wants to be. He's got to be disciplined in what we're doing in the scheme. I think the scheme really helps him. He comes off that edge. He fits that position pretty good. Him and Marcus both. And I'll tell you, Tyler Wiley's had a really good camp. So I feel really good about our safeties. The biggest thing, and I feel good about our corner. I think but that's the toughest position to play on the entire football field, in my opinion. And so we've made dramatic improvement there. So. Yeah, he's got. I told him he's got to get rolling. We obviously recruited and got guys in here, and those guys, early on performed better, and so they've been in there. And Mo's making a little push here lately, and had 2 interceptions today. And it doesn't matter to me who it is. I just want. It's all about performance.
What type of characteristics does Blake Barnett bring from off the field to on the field that translate to off?
I love Blake's intangibles. I think he's you think about character, smart, disciplined, tough. He embodies all those. That's really big because if you look at the guys that have quarterbacked in our system, there's a certain characteristics that they have, and I think he has the intangibles. I thought the first scrimmage, both quarterbacks were kind of struggled a little bit against the defense, and then this last scrimmage, I thought both of them played a lot better and played well. And the big thing Blake's got to do, he's got to beat Manny out. Manny's the starter; he's got to beat him out. So it's a good problem to have. It's very, very competitive. They're still competing, and they'll continue to compete. But we don't have to name a starter; we have one. So he has to beat them out, and he knows that. And but I love the things that he brings from an intangible standpoint.
Todd, you've been the most hands-on head coach I've been around. How are you handling more of a CEO type approach to the evolution?
I just really don't. I really don't do that. I'm very, very involved. It's been nice. What I've done is back at Tulsa in 07 and 08, I did what I'm doing now, and still very involved in what we're doing on deep. We're very, very similar in what we're doing. Obviously, Phil has been tremendous in developing the back end, and it just takes a focus to do that, And I think it's hard to be the head coach and have that kind of focus. I did for 12, 13, and started to slip in 14. But I love what I'm doing. I'm very hands-on and being a defensive consultant for the offense. And also, too, people don't realize I'm very, very, very involved in what we do offensively here. Very involved in what we always have been. Even though, most of the game days when you're working on the defensive side, you got your hands full there. But no, it's been fun. I think it's been great having new leadership and learning. I love learning. I've learned some things from Phil and from Billy, and it's been rejuvenating. But I'm not a walk around and stand around and look at. I'm very very involved on both sides of the football and the kicking game. So I actually. I think Coach Slocum lets me coach the 1 and 2. I coach number 1 and number 2 on the kickoff cover. So, my deal is about one vision, one heartbeat. I just think that you know, you have to be genuinely who you are, you know, and I do think that I'm a lot more comfortable now because I have more help. And you got to hire guys like Phil, like Billy. You got to let them go. You got to let them be creative. That's something I've always been able to do. I've had some of the best offensive coordinators in the country work for me. But on the same hand, we can't every time, you know, college football you're going to change. If you win, you're going to have change. If you lose, you're going to have change. Change is inevitable. So you can't change your system every year, every 2 or 3 years, right? So that's something I'm very, very involved in, is making sure that we adapt to what we do here and our players have been recruited to do. And so I'm very, very involved. But, you know, I'm not lying to you. I love being I liked being a defense coordinator. I just didn't like to pay, you know. So I like being a head coach, but I do it my way. Very involved with the players, very involved with the relationships, and then I'm the chief consultant with Coach Bennett. We put our heads together on things and look at things. It's been great to have that, but you need a guy filling out the scripts every day. You need a guy, and what happened is I got where I couldn't fill out those scripts every day, and you can't just show up on game day and be the defense coordinator. It's much more entailed than that, and so I'm enjoying what I'm doing. I love it. I love this place, and man, I'm excited about this season. I'm excited to get this thing going back where it needs to be going. Sam's had a great camp. He's really established himself as a leader. You know, my big thing with him is pushing him every day, just because he's probably. If we ask Coach Sale, he'd probably tell us he's our best offensive lineman. I don't know if Quinn Bailey would agree with that, but I think Sam. So what? So you're the best offensive lineman here. That's not on anybody's goal sheet. We're trying to be the best, and so I just challenge him every day to raise his standard of how he does everything he does and continue to get better. But he's a guy that has been one of the better leaders we've had here in the last 5 years. Because he's got some courage. He's not afraid to say something. Sometimes we've got to channel what he says, but